Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. It's Shirley with Spirit of Matter, and the moon is just ingressed into Libra. This is a Mars day, Mars hour. Midheaven is 22 degrees Leo, and the sun is in Scorpio, the sign of Mars. Mars in Cancer, applying to oppose Pluto, but sextiling Uranus, sextiling also Sedna, applying to sextile Sedna, trining Neptune. So very, very supported Mars. And I want to talk about justice and justice spells. I've been working with Spica for a while, and I just looked up. I saw someone who's guiding people to do like a justice spell, and she uses 9 nails and so on. And how should I say it? Very simply put, we just had an eclipse with Ketu on Spica, with Ketu on Libra. Okay, that means we are purging all the notions of justice. It also means that it's timely for everybody who's doing justice spells. It's very timely. What you have to take into consideration is that the old notions of justice are being purged just because. And I'm going to give the example. When I worked with Spica, I saw before the working, okay, things about maritime law, things about United States, the Masonic law, okay, really to the root of justice, okay, that which when I was 12 years old, I set aside because I saw a sign in a grocery store that said on the road, do not be just or do not be right, be wise, okay? And then on the Me Too, when I had to stand 10 toes down, I was not going for litigation because it was not appropriate to represent the sides correctly, to reach justice. And I had to speak up in order to heal, to curate, to stay in my body, to not develop cancer, nervous system disease, heart disease, all these things. And then they were trying to force me to things that would cause heart disease, okay? They were trying to basically slaughter me. I'm not saying they did intentionally to do so, but the preconceived notions of justice were leading to murder. You escape murder of soul and they face murder. And right now, we're at the same time. And then I said, I'm both just and wise. But I had to be. Okay? This is where I will discover open dialogue and the understanding that to curate psychosis, you need a housing first, also ability to travel, independently of ability to work, because person just been to crisis, and to believe the patient. That supportive environment curates psychosis, not the pills that make people murderous and suicidal. Okay? So now that we are at this samhein and so on, and moon ingressed into Libra, then this is time where people look or maybe want to work with Spica. And this is very correct. You just have to take into consideration that Venus that is ruling Spica, Venus that is ruling Libra is also ruling Taurus and also ruling Uranus Beta per se. And that means that all of us are transformed of where we see notion of justice, okay? Like I said, when I did yesterday, when I did the Uranus Beta per se a talisman, then I didn't know, and dedicated it to abolish expendable children, I did not expect that some of these children are leaders, okay? And so that awakened forces, and I did not expect that very likely my landlord or my makler stalking me, perhaps through cameras, perhaps through astral projection, okay? I did not expect that he was involved, although I got many times, I would see tarot reading, I would see that just on YouTube and say crooked landlord, crooked somebody, crooked this, and I wouldn't connect it to myself because I didn't think the landlord is crooked. Until he asked me if I sleep with my mom. And so you might do just this spell for one thing, and then what happens is that another issue rises. The root causes are going to rise. There's going to be surprise around it, but you're also going to have to release, just with the eclipses, preconceived notions of justice. You think justice is going to be done in traditional way? It's not, because we are purging for the ways in which the court was operating, especially for judges, okay, are in secret societies that are basically intelligence, and they have to be in this, otherwise could not be not judge, for perhaps even not a lawyer. And for studies they depend on funds, okay, they depend on these secret societies that are basically beyond organized crimes, okay, the cults, and they have to rape children, electrocute them, torture them on film, so that they are extortable, and they went through this themselves, okay? So right now we have the booming, after 2016, 2017, even regardless of the Me Too, there's also a booming of acknowledgement of CPTSD, of narcissistic abuse, of the toxic relations. Again, all these Libra things about relations, and now you hear lawyers say, I have tip for you to win at court with your narcissistic husband. Yes, but this is also unupdated, because if the judge snuffs children, the first and foremost important thing is to abolish for praxis of expendable children, and since the Inuit. Yeah, you can divorce this husband successfully, you will go to live alone, then your landlord, your makler, okay, your real estate agent, your neighbors, okay, also for men who live alone. Also for men who live alone. We had Prime Minister in Netherlands 20 years, much of the time living alone, and always people scrutinize. Amen, okay? Always people have something to say. Always. He is not more or less bitter than any of the other parliament members, judges, business people, none of that. But always people had something to say. So yes, you can defeat your, let's say, narcissistic husband, okay? Perhaps traumatized husband that you're not supposed to live with that, infiltration of your own boundaries. But then you go to live alone. You defeated him in court, okay? What's now? Next court case. So you're serial complainer, okay? But why is it happening? Because of these cults, because of these Peter rings. And the people who run these Peter rings, they themselves were tortured. So this is where you do a justice spell. You have to dredge up from the gutter everything with solutions that once were no longer. Let's say I discovered my landlord is a crook because he asked me if I sleep with my mom. For all the energy things that they did not did, I could say, oh, maybe my ex-psychologist, okay, Tamar still shape-shifting because he still wants something that if he would not mistreat, maybe he would have. But it's too late now, right? Depleted the water so much I cannot trust, okay? And at any case of what I like, what he likes is not the same. So, what is the point, okay? So I could say maybe still deceit Amarion switching roles, or deceit on the voice still switching, okay? But when Makler asked me, you sleep with your mom, I cannot ignore that he is in it too. And so, what solution? The solution is to what? To go another place as another person would do it. I have to treat it a change from the core. I have to treat the pattern, okay? So all the things for the court system, the way we used to do judgment, justice, not correct. Think about the Me Too era. Yes, I know, Jay-Z against this, against that. What okay, Jaguar right, you think that the women there, that she doesn't charge for their money, but only information. What are these women? The sex espionage, who tortured them? Who electrocuted them? Someone that she had to comply with. Even if it wasn't her, Then another person did that because there is no sex work, only sexpionage. This is why she gets for the information. She gets for the information. You need to torture them later, so they will forget. Who is in charge of that? She has to comply with someone in charge of that. Otherwise, people say she's so intelligent. Why she is voting Trump? She still needs to live. Okay, she's not out of the cult. It's not about me exposing Jaguar Wright. No, she is just not out of the cult. And she says, entire being, I want to be out of the cult. So yes, Me Too was Jay-Z exposing R. Kelly. And he also had. That being said, at the Me Too, people began to look and understand for offenses of sexual boundary violations. It causes damage to the ability to speak. The testimonies sound like this. So all the bases in which we have been facing law has been abolished, because we cannot do justice in world of sexual boundary violation with same standards we've been holding. And if to heal is to have to tell your story and to be believed in your community, otherwise you die. You begin to be sick and you die. Then this is it's medical. It's not juristic, it's medical. And what you have to do for the medical condition, not just the mental state, the physical state, then it comes in collision with what the court used to do. This is why I said we're 2024. If you're still holding grudge because somebody said on social media and you think it's defamation, it's this, it's that, you're gonna have to hold your horses way back. But it's also not correct for people to be deprived of resources because of that. Okay, so a lot of you have been doing justice magic, or using the number 9, using nails. I've been seeing nails. So it was like people trying to nail me to the cross, not understanding that you did a job for me. Why you did a job for me? Because whenever I wasn't doing just justice spells, you did a job for me because you brought in justice to my case. If you think I am on the right, you are on the wrong. You are on the wrong. And this is what you have to consider when you do justice spells. You have to consider for situation that you are on the wrong. It's not your spell backfiring because you did justice spell. It's your spell working. It said, I did this. Why she exposed my name again? Why she this? Why she that? She treats her teeth. Teeth, karma. Saturn in the sign of Mars, Mars names. And so if I didn't say names before, now I have to say names because it's to treat the karma of teeth. I also say what the good things person did, but what not good, to treat my teeth. This is more important. And I have no interest because it's the health of my teeth. If I would lie about this, it's not good for my teeth. But when I speak the truth, it's good for my teeth. So if I do it to curate my teeth, it means I speak the truth as far as I know it. If some MK Ultra took over you and said, ask her this, okay, so then let's talk about MK Ultra. But you cannot be like little boy or girl whine, defamation. But also, you cannot be deprived of housing, of food, of life conditions. But if your income been dependent on slavery, it's slowly crumbling down. Here for me, okay, I have been dependent on what welfare. And the more I try to get out of this, I cannot go into slavery because I can't work. But also not to stay where I was. So I move soil around. And my housing cannot be dependent on ability to work. And community cannot be, I thought, okay, I will retreat from community. What if I need help from community? If I grow old? If I fall? Okay, so all of these things assembled, it gives me a lot of heartache. Because I don't like explaining myself to people that don't seem to be able to understand. Okay? But all of the justice spells people been doing, thinking that they're on the right, for some things probably you're on the right. Maybe you had hard time with housing. Maybe you had hard time with income. Okay? Yes, but if your income depends on slavery, of course you have hard time with income. It doesn't mean you should be deprived of food or you should be deprived of safe housing or shelter for you. Yes, but definitely not to make of her crazy, to make of her this, to make of her that, and then do justice spell number 9, nails in the coffin, and wonder why is it backfire? Why she say my name? She say my name. She say my name because you're almost like a Destiny's Child. Say my name. Say my name. If no one is around me, yeah, no one is around me. I'm single. Yes, so say your name. But not in the way you meant for me too, okay? So, I just try to be, man. So, but I also want to keep it in the light. The good thing about, even if you made a mistake, even if you this, if you that, you asked for justice. It means that that even if it backfires, and that's the good thing, it's not going to deplete you so much so that you cannot survive. It's not going to wreck your psyche. I mean, if you're caught up in patterns of trying to slaughter a person that's just not done you wrong, they're just trying to be, of course it's going to run you down, okay? But you also have to understand that all these things that you thought we cannot prove in court, first of all, we have technology. And secondly, it is, to speak the truth is important for a person to stay in their body and to curate for situations where they could be going to insanity, going to psychosis, going to split personality. And if you've been intentionally trying to make someone go crazy, Tamar Yaron, and co. Yes, this backfires. But now it's very good because you're recruited, remember, to curate psychosis, housing first, independent of ability to work, also to travel, you're correct, also to travel for indefinite time, and to believe the patient. So remember this. You asked for justice. Here, come on, bring justice. Your MK Ultra, okay. His solution can curate MK Ultra. You try to hoard my housing, to make of me crazy and try to take for the income that I don't even have, and try to put me sex worker. All sex worker is what? Espionage. You try to make of me a spy over nothing. It doesn't save security of people. I will expose how espionage is done worldwide. You try to make it impossible for me to live in a place, to reside safely in a place. I will expose where the kibbutz Dvira that you live. There were no missiles there. There was no invasion there. So probably not just you. Many people that planned 7 October are hiding there, smuggled. This is where you live. All these people have address, so do you. You bleed just like I bleed, you bleed. Try to make of me insane? Well, you should have known it is unprofessional, because the grounding for your work should be, you know what's open dialogue, you know what's housing first, you know how they combine, you know how supportive environment curates psychosis. If you're not up to speed with your profession, and you take the cult-like sciences, Bassa van de Kolk, then good luck. It backfired. You're gonna go insane. They're gonna come for you. It's not me doing black magic on you. Don't, like, I save you the 9 nails and the coffin. It's not me doing black magic on you. It's all you did is backfire. You just don't remember because you can't dissociate for all you try to put people through. This is what's happening with this justice magic, okay? This justice magic is very genuinely about bringing in fairness. Libra, to balance the scales, bringing in fairness. It's not fair for a person to be persecuted for hidden things, for not even be able to be speaking at court, and not even have their housing, let alone job, their housing. Or to be so afraid of something happening in the physical, to be so afraid to speak it because that macular, that real estate agent has 100 estates around the city, sold entire city to people that do satanic ritual abuse, that are with the Wagner Fund, that did 7th October, that do in 2030. It's not fair, right? So, for people who do justice magic, for the nails in the coffin, of course, it's not that it's backfiring, it's that your spell is working and justice is done. It's just not working for the way you, because if you grew up to think woman that has sex or astral sex outside of marriage, she is the whore, doesn't matter that she thought she was touching herself, but her psychologist said, let's join in. So she tried to say, okay, this I like, this I doesn't know how to kick this out. Now she is a succubus. No, she's not a succubus. Geen succubus. Okay? And you know, sometimes a person is silly. They've been projecting, they don't see for what they did. Human. If you're gonna let her go, she's not into the same kink you are into. Maybe some things were managed is not into what you're gonna let her go. You wouldn't be happy with me. You wouldn't. You would have to role play to all kinds of people you shapeshift to, and then you wouldn't be happy with me. Well, don't you want relationships that you would be happy with? Well, you're gonna have to give up enslaving women. You're gonna have to give up the Masonic cult. The Red of Rothschild. Not going to work. And then people do justice spells. Okay? If your baby lying on the chessboard, do you know the story of Akedat Yitzchak? The sacrifice of Yitzchak? That's what your cult expects you to do. It's not about sacrificing someone instead, it's about exposing the entire dumb fuckery of the cult. If you got the Tema Mundi, fucking use it. Because that's your child there on the shrine to be sacrificed. I said what I said. If you bought an estate and maybe you don't even know there are some children underneath, good, dig them up. Clear the energy. You can't go talking about children. You can't go talking about rape as if somebody being raped has anything to do with acts of justice. If you've been all the way back there, where you believe that somebody being raped is some act of justice, then you have been, and you do justice spells. Of course, your justice spell is working. Nothing justifies person being raped, in spirit or in matter. Nothing justifies a person kidnapped, trying to be enslaved. Nothing. Okay? And again, I can only speak from my perspective. There are always deeper things, deeper truths, deeper intricacies, deeper everything. For you can't sacrifice human beings, right? Then the entire cult worldwide of blood sacrifice is exposed. It's not your spells backfiring, it's your justice spell working. If you've been holding notion of respect that is about the clothes on your body rather than willing consent, what can I say? Then you're exposing for the fact that your babies, or, okay, if you're for the, yes, that you've been either sleeping with your husband for the clout, or trying to use babies to keep him in relation, but for mostly that maybe your sex was not so willing consent, you were not so, moistured when you orgasmed, and you faked. Now they see this person, they won't fake, they won't please, they won't go people please, they want this, they want that. It's fucking attractive. They never ran into that before. But they also not comply with all these manipulative relational tactics. Okay, and then there are some times where you think person being manipulative and they're not. Okay, yesterday I talked about me genuinely believing a friend that's recovering from trauma had a way to kill themselves with no suffering. So saying it's not good to avoid this, avoid other people to have this. They thought I was being manipulative. No, but I genuinely believed. And I genuinely had no idea that they had no way to kill themselves with no suffering. And they say, if I had, I would have done that. I said, not necessarily. Because then you would have access to your sovereignty and autonomy that you could expand, or maybe you could actually recover. Not here to... But both of us, okay, so that person thought, oh, I'm being manipulative. No. I was saying, it cannot be that you go for the place where you go, you find yourself, you this, you that, and you don't have access to end life. And apparently, I was wrong. But they thought I'm being manipulative, but no, I was not being manipulative. I was genuinely saying, hey, if you have this access to this, don't keep it from others. So everybody was insanely triggered, but they understood that I was not being manipulative, and I understood that they genuinely did not have way to kill themselves with no suffering. And I believed them, okay? This is one of the things, Moon was not in Libra yesterday, but this is one of the things that also happen. You think somebody is being manipulative, being trickery, being succubus, being this, and not at all. That's going to be exposed. But you know who is angry? Angry are only the people that try to tarnish your name for the cloud. And you see them because these are the people that get mad when you speak the truth. When you speak the truth, you know how, let's say when somebody speaks the truth to you, and it wasn't something that you knew, then you feel there is a relief to your tension because you're like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of this. Immediately relief for the tension. But when there is excess tension, you know that there had a plan that was falling down. And they are, oh, fuck it. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. This not working. So they try from here, they try from there, they try from there. It's continuing to backfire. This is, and if you did that and did just this spell, okay, the devil ain't had a jurisdiction like this, okay, then what can I say? You know, you summoned your own demons like to persecute you and bring justice. I mean, you did the job for me. Great, wonderful. I had a person that trying to interfere in my talismanic magic for the election. They try to nudge you to do something. Then the moon is with Saturn, okay, releasing from Saturn. They have moon in Pisces in Saturn, okay? They are currently that election. And then they try to blame. You see, look what you did. You're thinking I'm going to throw this magic. No, I keep it. You managed your own sadhasati. You managed your own sadhasati. Now live with the results of your own magic. You interfered in my magic. This is your magic. You managed your own sadhasati. Here are the curations. There are certain crystals for your moon is. You try to make me do malefic things for me. You created your own, I'm not saying demise, because things can be curated for, but that is just so. So don't get mad. Don't try to use the tema mundi. I get people try to use and it has the peacock. It doesn't matter for what the image you use. It has different colors because it's the inversion of it, and it shows it's the inversion of it. It's not the real thing. Benevolence of intent matters. If you try to use it for dark magic, for this, for that, it doesn't help that you have the Holy Grail or the Thema Mundi. It has to be with benevolence. If you have tried to deprive someone of their benevolence, okay, justice is going to bring fairness. So, okay, you've been, I don't know, Chamo for that. You've been, I don't know, MK Ultra. It's going to be exposed as well. It's not going to do you wrong. That's not the point. Okay? That's not the point. But it's also not going to allow you to do for someone else wrong. And the more you try to enforce the notion of justice that are not compatible with justice, then you suffer tremendously. This is where you suffer tremendously. This is where the pain is coming. Okay, I had my land, basically the owner of the one who built the building ripping off a rosemary bush that I planted. What does rosemary do? It protects your property, you dumb fuck. So did the tree that you cut off every time. That doesn't allow people to grow. Now, because I want to grow, no more of this depletion, so some backfired, so some magic was allowed to some degree to affect me so that I could get out of this situation. But also, it's kind of in between worlds until situation is better for me, that I can move for next phase. But if people who've been doing assaults, then with every layer exposed another thing of another person been involved, another person been involved, another thing been involved, another thing been involved. If people been buying the Thema Mundi from the Copox for to do that thing, what do you think? What you think Austin and Caitlin will not notice? Hey, something is wrong with the energy. Let's do magic to balance the egregore. You think I will not be holding Sphere and Santi and say, hey, Sphere and Santi is free to work, free from MK Ultra. Yes, I know the Masons. So what? And I bless for this creation to work free from MK Ultra, free from satanic abuse. You think they're not going to correct their egregore? They're going to correct their egregore. If they did something because of misconception, because of this, you think they're not going to correct it? They're going to correct it. Yeah, they know magic. They know what happens when magic backfires, especially Libra. Caitlin has stellium in Libra. She knows Libra, and it's in the 12th house. So the things that none of us see, she knows. For the good, the bad, and evil. Everybody, people grow as magicians. They see. They do this, they do that. So that's experience that none of us have. Think she's not going to correct for this? Some of you, Itamar Yaron, Ido Nevo, trying to get into Austin's energy. You think we're not going to correct for this? But also the person that you've been trying to get to have to work the preconceived notions. Because if you go with whatever, that's going to backfire internationally until you fix it. You cannot. When you put your magic out there, it's not like I put my magic out there, this is a product that I sell. What I do hiddenly, the rituals hiddenly in my house is my rituals. No. No. Every time you do magic, somebody bought your product. We receive for everything. You get the product, you hold it in your hand. You see, unhex me from my hex. What does unhex me from my hex? Oh, okay. I got it. Okay? You see, credit. I saw one time I got credit. I was like, what credit? Yes, there's the credit score, yes, the credit this, there's the credit that. Oh, Caitlin Kapok was worried about her job not receiving credit. It's in the product. You hold the product, credit. Okay? You can't hide your magic. You make money from this, is very good. It's doing a lot of good work, but you can't hide your magic, okay? And it's also important, it's justice, it's fairness, okay? People get chance for the grace to learn from experience. And Caitlin recently had someone plagiarizing her entire article in a book. Okay? But she saw this person is only beginner, influencer, not really big. So she warned them, but it's not going to litigate or do anything because it's like, okay, yeah, the people get to learn from their mistakes. So this is what's happening right now with everybody's magic rituals, justice rituals. A justice ritual is not a mistake for those who... Okay? Justice ritual is not a mistake. And at this time, with your honor better per se, people that have been violent in will and consent of someone, even if the whistleblowers, think of Julian Assange, okay, got the Belmarsh. If he was affiliated with Peter Rings, this will be exposed. Got all the credit. And exposed not for punishment, but to stop, abolish the practice that he must have suffered as child as well. That's it. This is what Libra concerned about, is fairness. Not vengeance. Not even punishment for sake of punishment. It's fairness. Okay? It's not fair for children to have to go through this. Not fair for entire structures to collapse so that structures that still enslave humanity will arise. But if humanity still sees notions of the feminine, and there's only place for the feminine, you either are nun, which means that you also are pedo, or the whore of Babylon, and then it's allowed to rape you, it's allowed to this, it's allowed to that. Okay, those things, with the entire of religions and followers of those, kaput al gol. Want to call it show up? Call it show. Want to call it democide? Call it democide. Because how do these things develop? It's when they do for what they do to the children, and they torture and they electrocute and they rape. So child become what? Succubus, man or woman. So if we still think succubus is this demonic being that is to that, it's like, well, your Pope programmed this demonic being in this child. Okay? And you ask for justice, justice you get. If you've been holding preconceived notions of karma, you think, oh, this happened because past life you were, because all of your religious people are in these Masonic cults, that, from all religions, and based on indigenous religions, that do this to children, not because they're pedophile, but because they recruit for children for espionage and split the personality so they don't even know that this is happening to them. And then for these children, they become influencers, they become this, and they control humanity this way. Then all notions of karma are capital goal. Don't expect the karma to work in the way that you expected. It's not your magic backfiring, it's your magic working. You put the 9 nails in the coffin. Okay, what happens? You seal the deal. And if your deal was human trafficking, then of course your magic is not going to backfire, but your deal is going to backfire. Can't be sacrificing children on the altar and doing a samhein justice magic work and not expecting for justice to come. It is the root of justice. Okay? You've been persecuting person, man or woman, because they live alone. Then what will happen? What did you think will happen? First of all the town is going to divorce. Now everybody needs 2 houses. Now you're going to understand what the need is to live alone. That's first. Then, what happens to the children? What happened to the children under Mark Rutte regime? Was it Mark Rutte? No, he was the most accommodating person on earth. He had no vision. He said, what you want for vision, you go to eye doctor. Yes, but it's also requiring for us to correct the eyesight holistically, not with glasses. So who came up with this idea for children? It was just accommodating. Could one person, prime minister, stop this? No. Structurally, no. It's the democracy, it's parliament. Even within the government. Now you see they're wanting to replace him with AI, with his head of NATO. But what happened to the children? Kidnapped. Why? Because when you divorce, the children are kidnapped. Oh, but you didn't let him be child-free man living alone. He knows very well what happens to children. It happened to him. And he had to perpetuate. He had no choice or say in the matter. A person living alone. What happens? So first everybody's going to divorce. It's going to be a big crisis. Everybody cannot stay together. Must have shelter, must have housing. Well, with the pandemic they had. Now, what asyl out, we have the asyl Nazi now. We had the vaccine Nazi, so we have an asyl Nazi. A woman. Okay? But you can't say, I mean, if a Moroccan child, is it safe to be kidnapped to satanic ritual abuse in Netherlands? Because they live alone with mom? that won't be able to support him without being sex espionage. It's not sex work. Okay? What you gonna do for living, right? Or it's safer for them to try to go to Morocco. Is Netherlands safe for a young Moroccan child? Daughter or male? For a single Moroccan woman? It was not safe for a single Dutch man. They were child-free, living alone. Then what happened? All the divorces, crisis, economic crisis. Everyone, it was not him making this up. He said, for vision you go to eye doctor. No vision. Just accommodating for everybody in the government. That's a common ground. So everybody divorced. Not enough housing. Everybody now needs to live alone. And the children, what happened? They kidnapped. So why ask why is a person child-free when we don't have children? Oh, because he likes children. He's not more or less pedo than any one of them. All of them had to do what they had to do with children because of the intelligence and the secret societies. All of them. It was done to them as children and they had to do this as children. They had no way out. They were born into these cults. It's not like Ronald Bernard, he was sexually abused outside cult by church. Then he went to the cult, says, I'm going to defreeze my consciousness, like you said, and I'm going to make money. And he went up the ladder, up the ladder, up the ladder, up the ladder. He was supposed to snuff children. He said this no. Then tried to kill himself, and then got very, very tortured, got out of the cult. They say, oh, but the cult still has a hold on him. Of course, still has a hold on him. But if you're born into the cult, as child, you can't get out of the cult. That's your leaders. So you want to bring the 1100. What about all the satanic ritual abuse? You want to blame the person that says for vision you have to go to eye doctor? But it's not eye doctors. You have to take off the glasses, set intention and see what corrects the vision. I also am going through this myself. Don't wear glasses for 2-3 years now. I cannot say my vision is perfect, but it's definitely improving for the things that govern that vision. And I know about hermaphrodites and all of that, moon cults, sun cults and all that. This is what happens when we talk about fairness, when we talk about justice. Are the children to blame that they were kidnapped? Absolutely not. Are people to blame that Harun Hassan? Absolutely not. But are people to blame that they did not let one person, even man, to live alone? When man lives alone, then immediately, oh, he's pedo, he's this, he's that. When man is fully married, having wonderful children, you don't think he's assaulting maybe the daughter, the son, the this. You don't think about this. You don't ask questions. It's like family, traditional family, right? But it's no less pedo, no less a secret society, no less. But a person living in a different life situation, now it's a problem. And this is in Netherlands. Then imagine other places. Same with women. Okay, all of you are going to divorce, and you run a bit per se, you're going to divorce. Many of you are going to divorce. Unless you're like, astrologers, shamans that work with talismans, and that is your astrology. Okay, that's like that is the thing for you. Then very likely for most of you it means divorce. If you're married now, very likely you're going to divorce. Or your sister going to divorce, or your brother's going to divorce. Okay, so many people going to divorce. Okay, now you're going to learn what it's like to live alone. And now, good luck with keeping the children. Don't call the welfare, don't call the police, they're going to call the welfare. Now you learn as society. what people told you, and you say, no, it cannot be. Oh, because they don't want to work. They don't want to, you cannot help people who don't want to help to themselves. Okay? Letting go of Mark Wood now, put him on the spot. So, but now entire society sees that, and you think the person did something for that? Nothing. And you think you need a course for that to curse the city? No, nothing. It's just the natural telos of things. Now Uranus is on beta per se. Everybody going to divorce. And it's depleting for the financial, because if you try to enslave someone sexually, then they can't, either they get sick, they kill themselves because Uranus is suicide, they run away and tell everything, all the story. They begin to compulsively speak. And me too, I began to compulsively speak. Before that, I went to EMDR because I tried to see therapy for men who went through sexual assault. Because for men, they don't have to speak. And I said, why don't I have therapy for you don't have to speak for women? Because everybody said, you must speak about the trauma. You must speak about the trauma. But I couldn't speak. Then me too, compulsive speech. Defamation, decapitation! That's our goal. If you ask what is the sound of beta per se, that's beta per se. Okay? Do you think a real estate agent has interest financially, if what he's doing is real estate, to ask, forget about the sleep with your mom. Why don't you and another person come live together in the same apartment? There's no fiscal reason for that. Fiscal reason is like, hey, you see, like this, I'm going to have apartment, another apartment, maybe your parents, maybe you have family member, maybe you have this, maybe you have that, maybe you also want apartment here. You see, if you like the region, maybe there are people you know that also want to move here, bring in a good society, good people. Not as you sleep with your mom, why would you come live with the same apartment? It's not fiscal logic of real estate, so you just exposed yourself that you're not a real estate agent. That your business is for the cloud. What is in the business? I don't know, maybe human trafficking. So all sex work is sexpionage, so you work for some intelligence. Maybe you planned for 7th of October, maybe you planned for 2030. You exposed yourself. What did you think was going to happen? Summertime goes, I grow my garlic. In the middle of war, I say I don't know what to do. Summertime goes, I grow my garlic, I tend to my teeth. And I say, hey, my body rejects that like you reject poison. And so many tarot readers, ever since I moved in, you had bus drivers. You live in a this and that number of street, a this and that. I had to alcohol the entire neighborhood. And then all the light went out. If you saw my video from back then, I go in the bus, only women. I talk about for the bus driver. Then I go down. The entire street, all the lights went out. This is better per se. She works with electricity. Before Uranus conjoined her. All the lights went out. After I did, I'll call someone, I'll go for this. No more drivers, no more ask me anything. And you have 3 times to set the boundary with alcohol, 3 times. Then, no more, none of that. The neighbor that asked me if I live alone, he told me that this house was the house of the Mark Love, Shelley, and Miro Shelley and his wife, Bella, and Shelley is the name of the wife. Okay, and you call it Tivuch Shelley, okay, for over your wife. So over your wife, you have a human trafficking business. Over the name of your wife. Come on. And then for this person, he helps him for when I need to water the plants outside. I say, you can come from my estate. You can go move from my estate. It's no problem. So completely transformed. when I had to take care of, there was turtle that I was saving, I had to take care of turtle. I called him and said, I used to grow 50 turtles. And so excited. And everybody's so excited. So what happens? I need to renew contract. You ask me if I sleep with my mom. Okay, if it's MK Ultra, let's expose it all together. But if something else going on here, it's going to be exposed. This is exactly for what happens round samhein, round the magic that people doing, round the eclipses with Ketu in Libra. Okay, and sometimes it's many things are going to be unpredictable. You didn't think it's going to come here. But I would have my thoughts. I knew that psychologist Itamar Yaron had a very hard time when I said no to abuse. Had a very hard time. I said I came to heal. Okay, I knew that Ido Nevo had very hard time when I said no to his gaslighting, abuse, MK Ultra tactics of creating bondage with people and trying to control for somebody's destiny. So sometimes to be kind, but always controlling. And I said, I want out. For a reason. And then I had to speak. I had all the surge of all of my traumas. I had to speak out. And it was not against him. It was to stay alive. So the good thing that came out of it is I began to speak. So it wasn't. So for me, it was not about the silence and the no, you probably have a lot to speak as well. So stay in your body to clear that MK Ultra programming. Yes, I'm not enslaving you, okay? I was thinking that. And when people, colleagues from Ekveld, suddenly I feel the energy or trying to get into bed with me, I say, they don't know me. They don't know me. They never ran into me. My channel was very small and was not even doing astrology back then. They don't know me. So something else. Either this Itamar Yaron, okay, is trying to shapeshift through the energy. Okay, but now you mixed with the energies, then a person notices. Then they may think it's me. Then they have a wife. Then you may think it's a succubus. Then it is, that, okay? So you have to be tender. You say, I don't know who, I don't know what. Maybe it's this psychologist still. But if you get all the leverage on the psychologist and then you start... now it's no longer Itamar Yaron, okay? That shit gonna backfire though. Okay? And you think, okay, who are the people that I know do this dumb fuckery? And then sometimes, with people involved, I would see their faces. If you went, I don't know, to do reading with someone, and that someone does succubus magic, or try to control for my life path, or to sacrifice, to do destiny swap, okay, I suddenly would see videos about destiny swap, and I was like, what is this? I didn't know it exists. Okay, there are allegations that Beyonce did this to Aaliyah. I don't know, okay? I didn't know this thing exists. And then I make magic for it to go away, then I see faces of some colleague that I'm like, I saw she was in my energy, but then I see her, it's like, oh, she was doing for this magic. I say, okay, why you want the destiny swap with me? And I think, okay, now how can I interfere in her favor? Because if she wants to swap destinies with me, then her life a really mess. And I see she's MK Ultra, okay? Got into her. So I think, okay, what can I do for her? So to resolve these things, she's trying to work for the dark ways, but her soul still need help. We see your faces, we see your teeth structure. If I tend to my teeth, okay, I see the teeth, I see your teeth. I would feel in the face that the mask of the person, the facial of the person, the energy of the person, the teeth structure. By the smile or the teeth structure, I know which energy. You have distinct smiles. And some of you coming from the same family, I'm like, okay, is this the smile of this person from the family or that person from the family? Sometimes people are married, they begin to have facial expressions similar, okay? So the wife is like, oh, you've been disrespectful, you've been this, you did that, you did soul telepathy. And you're like, well, I don't know what's happened with you guys. Why are my noses here? Are you two doing something together to try to... Like, what is going on? Okay, it all backfires. If you do something for the cloud, if you do something for... We're going to create a situation where that person looks bad, and then we're going to benefit from that. Okay, but also if the reason you're doing that is because you thought that when I expose things or when I say things is from malefic intention, then you see it's not at all so. The exposure is to correct for the lineage, to bring into alignment, to bring into fairness. Okay? So people can grow, people can heal, people can get out of the situation. Now, if you thought, okay, we're going to pay this person this sum of money because they did it for the cloud, and he didn't do it for the cloud. For will and consent is not something you can mess with. So creative energies. But you see, when that's released, your creative endeavors also released and successful. If you've been cancelled and you address MK Ultra, you're not going to be cancelled, okay? It's also opening doors for you. So again, this situation to bring us back to the fairness. If we have misconception of why somebody is doing something, then we're going to know. And if at any case, okay, one needs to get out of a certain environment, then things are going to get messy and the dumb fuckery will be exposed. So that they can get out of the situation, but so that they can change for the situation as well. You don't leave situation the same and walk away. You create big mess, situation must change, and then you go for your next, okay, your next quest in life. This is what I have to say about justice. We are purging the ways that we used to do justice. We are going towards sovereignty, okay? There's a Chiron wound in there. So sovereignty that is inclusive of people who find it difficult to express sovereignty. You cannot use, but people have been using the crazy thing to try to get resources out of people, cannot do it anymore, because you're going to have to respect that this person needs to be so well treated. It's going to be expensive for you. They need to travel, they need to this, they need to that, they need to that. They need a supportive environment, they need housing independent of ability to work for indefinite time. They need a yard for to go with all these things that you meant to steal from them. You're going to have to pay compound interest. And in the end, they're not crazy. Okay? Because we're moving away from the court system to the sovereign innovation system. And in that system is a system where you cannot criticize what person does to make their own way, their own path. But if your income reliant on slavery, then don't expect for the court system to work in your favor. The judges are sick of raping children already. They begin all this conversation, it stirs up their traumas. They remember for when that happened to them and they forgot. Now it stirs up. Then flashbacks come in. Okay, I had Me Too veteran that she remembered verbal sexual harassments. She did not remember something happened at the elevator where she was physically, sexually harassed. Then once she speaks with a friend, and the friend says, but what about the court system, because she was filing a court case. What about the physical harassment? Why did you not mention it? My friend did not remember this. So it was not. And then when I talk about the MK Ultra, Masonic cults, and her father was with Yitzhak Rabin, with all this, okay, all these Masons, he says, I cannot. This is dangerous already for my life. At first, it has nothing to do with my case. It's nothing to do with this. I said, of course it has, because the people that hurt you and the fact that your father was in such high rank is related directly to for this case, because this is what are these people doing. But basically, why did she not remember? Very likely she was either electrocuted, so she would forget, and then dissociate, or programmed so she would dissociate. They're trying to make her espionage. And it backfired. But it was too triggering for her to face this MK Ultra thing. But if you are in position of power, okay, she retreated. She didn't understand why she cannot work. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Housing first. And ability to travel, because you're going to need to travel too. So we're purging for the way we think of all these things. And so your magic's not backfiring, it's actually working.